hello, welcome everybody. We are now live here for Hearthstone PQ, the 10K bi-monthly tournament, and this is the third one. And we're about to start. This would be our round of 16 match, and it's a highly contested match between WaningMoon and Chalk. Before we forget, I am Himrel. I'll be one of your casters for today, and with me is Miko.
Hi guys.
Miko
here.
Yeah, Miko's your last tournament you went top 16 with
Yeah, that was during the Thailand majors.
Thailand
Got lucky enough
majors.
to be in the top 16.
If you're not that familiar with Miko, you've also been playing a lot of card games. Is that right?
Yeah, mostly Hearthstone and Shadowverse, but before that I also played trading card games like Magic, Force of Will, World of Warcraft.
Yeah. The card game before Hearthstone. Is that right?
Yeah, the card game for Hearthstone. Before Hearthstone became a digital card game, it has its roots in a trading card game called World of Warcraft TCG. Mostly the same mechanics carried over to Hearthstone.
I believe you find some success with playing World of Warcraft. Is that right?
Yeah, at one point I was the I was the national champion, got into Worlds, and didn't do well there.
Okay, so now let's try our hand in Hearthstone. I believe WaningMoon and Chalk is about to start their match. We've taken a look at their decks, and it seems like Chalk has gone all-out aggro here.
Yeah, he doesn't want to go the priest route, which is big
The usual
difference
route,
between his lineup and Waning Moons.
Oh, okay. We're already at the game screen right now. You can see Chalk and WaningMoons. Oh, I think this is okay. WaningMoon has used his Rogue, right? Okay.
Yep.
One of the top classes in the meta right now.
Yeah, after the bans, everyone thought that it was priest that will be the dominant class, but nope. Believer is under bans apparently.
Okay. Usually at the top ranks right now, well, it's early, so about rank 10 already. You can see mostly rogues and priests in the ladder. But anyways, right here, let's see how WaningMoon's answering Chalk's. You can see a good draw for Chalk there with his.
Yeah, he had a great start with a Parrot, plus Patches,
This
never
time,
Rogue Stream.
this time he won't be able to use his fiery Win-X.
Yeah, apparently Fire War Axe get the Win Axe. It got nerfed to 3, so it turned from the most powerful weapon in the game into a sort of kind of okay weapon.
More of a fair weapon, right?
Yeah, it's
now.
a fair weapon now.
Okay. On the other side, WaningMoon, I think this is one of the prevalent lists right now. The Keleseth Rogue, Tempo Rogue.
Yeah, it's true. It's very useful now, especially that all of the aggros have popped up. So the state of the game now turns into a tempo-based game. So the more that you can get board advantage, or rather steal board advantage, even from a losing position, the better off the deck will be. And Rogue is one of the best classes out there that can steal board, even losing board positions from the opponent.
Miss the Tempo class have finding success in this meta right now. You can see this version has Shadow Steps. Several versions right now. I mean, I think that there are two classes, the ones with Shadow Step and the ones without. And I think, and also the one with Elementals.
Oh, that's
with
true.
that. So,
For Shadow Step, it is the Keleseth Rogues that make a lot of use out of Shadow Step. And it's actually borderline unfair because there are some times that a player will just draw Shadow Step and Keleseth on their first turn and just drop him twice, and everything in his deck gets +2/+2. And there are decks that aren't really prepared for that kind of early advantage.
yeah, especially when Patches comes in like a
2-2 or 3-3.
even a 4-4 if he gets both the shadows that in hand. But that would be a real God draw there. Okay, so Chalk on the receiving end of that patches with upgraded with cold blood.
Cold blood.
Cold-blooded patches there.
Yeah, apparently, despite Chalk being the player going first, it's actually Wayne who's happening. On the aggressive side, Chalk has to control his board.
He has to take that 5 damage just to get rid of that 5-1. And
Okay, Wayne has the perfect answer for Lost Mind Slayer from the flank.
coming out just before it turn 5, the Vilepines Slayer goes. Chalk answering with his Arcanite Reaper
And
and
the Red Corsair.
yeah, Fiend Red Corsair with it. You can see Chalk is going aggro with here with the use of Wolf Rider in his list.
I've seen 2 of his deck list, and he has Wolf Rider in there. And in this version of Aggro Pirate, he is using 2 copies of Wolf Rider.
2 copies going.
There they are.
There they are. The wolves are on the hunt.
And in fact, he really has to go with his line of play. Otherwise, if he tries to control the board, WaningMoon will just keep piling and piling on the different advantages. Yeah.
Okay, he's weighing his odds. Just a little control.
Yeah, just a little control, just to make sure he survives the turn. Because he has the kill in hand, but
Lethal.
I think it's lethal. Okay.
Okay.
It's lethal with the Leroy.
Yeah, already lethal there. Okay, so WaningMoon takes first blood of this matchup. What bans do we have here? For WaningMoon, we have
yeah, he banned Chalk's Evo Shaman.
the Shaman.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, so that's an evolved Shaman, and for
For
Chalk,
Chalk, he banned WaningMoon's, of all things, it's a Jade Druid.
the Jade Druid.
We
Okay.
thought that Jade Druid got nerfed heavily,
Mm,
but apparently Jade Druid is just too strong.
yeah,
that it turned it from a real strong deck into a normal.
yeah, but yeah, it's still up there in the race with Anduin and Valera,
That's
just
true.
up there. There are no more like unfair
There are no more
turns, right?
yeah, there are no more opening starts that are played from Innervate.
Mhm.
But other than that, it still retains its great matchup against control decks because all of these Jades, they can still go out of control,
Mhm.
but it kind of has returned to its former form
Mhm.
for the new expansion wherein it can be susceptible to aggro decks.
Yeah. Looking at the band, Chalk has all his lineup with aggressive lineup. Why do you think he chose to ban the Druid instead?
Well, that's true. Maybe he is afraid of spreading plague.
Mm-hmm.
There are some aggro decks that are just not built to handle spreading plague, and especially if they don't have the the
Yeah,
right
I think
tools.
I think if a spreading plague is in the hand of the WaningMoon's Druid, Chalk's lineup
it-
doesn't fare well
it's
with
kind
that.
of
Yeah.
very well. After all, it's still 5 damage, and if you are playing an aggro deck that relies on multiple guys on the board,
Yeah.
small guys on the board, those 1/5 walls can actually put a stop to your plan, and then from there the Jade Druid can slowly gain advantage, which culminates in the infestation,
Mhm. Yeah.
and then they'll take over the game from there.
Okay, so right now we have Chalk on his Rogue and WaningMoon on his Paladin. This is the Paladin taking use of the Corpse Taker, and it's more of a mid-rangey feel to it. It does has a lot of low drops. This is not unlike his. This is more not like his previous deck that he bought with the what he calls it, Turkmenistan, where they fought for AMAC.
Oh yeah, this is a bit different. And one of the very interesting additions to this deck is that It has Grokfu Master.
What? Grokfu Master?
Yeah, it's a 5-cost minion, 3/5 Wind Fury.
Oh, okay. Basically, just also to activate Corpse
Yeah,
Takers.
Corpse Taker. So it's not only relying on. Well, actually, that's its main source of
Wind Fury.
Wind Fury. He doesn't trust the Storm Storm guy.
Ah, the Storm guy. It's a bit too.
It's a bit too costly.
Too costly, yes. We can actually see that WaningMoon has placed a turn to Keleseth, and Chalk answers with his 6/6 Van Cleef.
That's the other very interesting addition of WaningMoon. His Paladin deck actually has Keleseth, despite not being a hand buff Paladin.
Hand buff, okay. I think that he just he put on a more mid-rangey twist compared to the one he bought in AMAG, which is much more aggressive and relied heavily on Divine Favor.
That's true.
Another draw there. Okay, so looks like WaningMoon doesn't have a really good answer for that.
Yeah, for that
Van
very,
Cleef.
he came down very early, and what WaningMoon can do now at the moment is try to stall the game a bit, but he isn't going the Corpse Taker road. He is instead going to one of the
Fireflies.
Yeah, the Fireflies with Blessing of the Kings, just to control the board and contest Chalk in terms of board presence.
We can actually see the Grokfu Master in there.
Yeah, there is the Grokfu Master.
Kung Fu Monkey.
Imagine if the Blessing of the Kings went to that monkey.
Does he have 2 Grokfu? Just 1, right? So
He has 2 actually.
he has 2. So that Corpse Taker will still have the complete set.
A complete set of abilities. And what's more is that it is buffed by Prince Keleseth, so it comes down as a 4/4. Plus, if you consider playing Rallying Blade,
yeah.
you can turn into a 5/5 if Chop doesn't
Yeah,
try to control this board.
Which I think that won't happen very easily. Now, WaningMoon has several a bit odd moves here. He won't be able to really utilize his mana.
That's true. He can only make one play.
That would use
One play per turn. It would use up all of his resources, but on the other hand, Chalk is also running out of cards in hand. So as long as WaningMoon can find ways to deal with this Van Cleef,
Okay. He actually chose to sacrifice his 5/3 just to set up that Grokfu Master.
elemental, yeah. He wants to survive instead of the Van Cleef going to his face, because he is down to 15. It just takes 2 Van Cleef attacks plus something else
Yeah.
to kill him. He wants to distract the Van Cleef using the Grokfu, and then from there he'll try to probably play the Corpse Taker.
Yeah,
and then set himself up a good defense.
You can't really leave that Kung Fu Monkey on the board.
Otherwise, it will easily turn the table.
Yeah, especially with all the buff that Paladin has at its arsenal. So, okay.
So Chuck with a very good move here. He shadow stepped the injured Van Cleef and then played him. So he, from a 6/6, it's now an 8/8 threat and fully healed.
Wow. Okay, so that Corpse Taker ain't gonna have is not gonna have Wind Fury with that Grokfu Master.
Yeah, with the
draw.
second group of Master Drawn. But it will still have the lifesteal, I presume.
Yeah, Lifesteal, Divine Favor, and Taunt. If I'm not mistaken, because right, just lots of cards in the hand. Still a good defense, but
still a good defense.
Valspine activator for it. I think he
Yeah,
already has.
there you have it. It's
He actually had already an activator with the.
the Cold Blood in hand. So
Um,
Cold Blood,
Not really the cold, but even with the
the SA-70.
the Saril, just the Saril.
Oh, just the Saril.
Just this build potion from the Saril would have done it.
That's good.
Okay, so down to 2 is WaningMoon, and it looks like it's GG.
Yeah, it's GG at this point. He doesn't have anything to defend against it, so
So this rivalry is now set at 1-1. Chalk
One game apiece.
one apiece. Exactly what we expected from these two giants.
Two powerhouses.
Mhm.
They are considered probably the top players in the Philippines
Mhm.
at this point. WaningMoon has always placed consistently in every event he came across,
Yeah.
major event he came across, and Chuck, of course, has this history of long uh,
Yeah.
so many victories.
Yeah,
A great tournament resume.
he was one of the first to qualify for BlizzCon, although I think everybody remembers the visa problems
That's true.
that he encountered with together with Staz. He also had a stint with as an international pro player with F2K, but he took a break and now he's at it
Now he's
again.
back.
I think his last success was in Mesa Mobile Esports
Yeah.
Arena.
He is qualified for the in the invitationals.
And what a speech he gave there!
That's true.
He's given two great videos for us Hearthstone fans. I don't.
That's one of the best things about it. He has the play skill. He also has the personality to do it.
Yeah, that's a great formula, actually. WaningMoon, on the other hand, has always been a consistently good player, and always with a string of teams. He was first with Psysorum, and then with Peach Alliance, and now recently with Bren Pro.
Yeah, along with Pompey.
Yes. Okay. So, okay. Now back to the match. Chalk choosing to go with his hunter, and WaningMoon opting to just stick it out.
Still stick it out with the Paladin. And this is great. Hunter doesn't, or at least Chalk's list doesn't have an effective way to deal with corpse taker, or anything with the Divine Shield for that purpose. And this Paladin has great tools to fight off the running Crash with Hunter. So it's a really good pick for WaningMoon.
The thing is, he actually just drew patches there, and his high cost, endgame cards. Okay, Wicker Flame would.
Yeah, Wicker Flame is a
Good
good defense
curve there.
against this, especially with the Kenley Grandmother.
Okay, he can he can actually use patches to basically clear the board.
So Firefly is going to be used plus matches to clear the board.
And leaving with 3 1/1 creatures on the board for Chalk to answer.
And not only does that put the board advantage on WaningMoon's side, it also stops Chalk from the Scavenging Hyena shenanigans that he has in
Okay,
hand.
this little piggy's not going face this time, and wow, Prince Keliseth
Skeleset off the top.
up the top and down on the board immediately. There it goes, and
And the
okay.
board is easily taken care of.
Now,
So that's so much for Huffer. But
Covers-
Bear Shark
yeah,
is
okay.
going to be the new threat.
One of the new cards that actually gives Priest a headache.
Yeah,
the Bear Shark.
So much headache for Priest. It has 4 attack and it cannot be targeted.
Yeah, so they have to get rid of it.
They have to wait until turn 6 for the Dragonfire potion, or they
Dragonfire.
wait for turn 5 for the
Or their-
Pint-sized potion plus Shadow Word.
Yeah, or they're creatures that just.
Yeah, she'll play something that can actually trade with it.
But yeah, Houndmaster. It's a very good target.
It gets
for
worse with
Houndmaster.
Houndmaster.
Yeah.
Which is what Shock has in hand. So this is probably his follow-up play unless he wants to contest the board.
Although that Wicker Flame is presenting somewhat of a headache there.
That's
And-
true. Especially with, as I've said earlier, Shock's Hunter deck has a very hard time against things with Divine Shield. Because this Hunter deck relies on trading 1 for 1 to gain an advantage by having bigger minions.
Okay, he's opting to go to clear Wicker Flame here with the Wolf Rider instead, and opting to just use the crab to
Just to have some more board presence. But as you can see, that Wicker Flame just took out Wolf Rider and at least brought the Bear Shark to a manageable size.
Okay. And speaking of sizes, everybody will be on size 3.
Everybody will be on size 3.
And good trades there. Just using the Divine Favor for
Divine Shield. Yeah, the
Divine
Shield.
Shield.
Yeah, to do a positive trade. Plus, Waning Moon is preparing for the late game with the Tyrion Fordring in hand as well.
And Chuck, it looks like he's running out of resources.
He's running out of resources. He's just down to one card in hand.
Divine Favor
64
not
force.
won't see any use there.
Yep.
But Tyrion Fordring waiting on turn 8 next turn. And a clear board for Chalk there.
Yeah, with this, Waning Moon has secured his board position against Chuck. So it's now Chuck's turn to be on the defensive, and the problem is his deck list is quite bad on the defensive end.
Yeah, okay. So Tyrion Fordring here, and a couple of trades there.
There goes the Berserk.
Again, the Divine Shield there.
So
Little.
I like Waning Moon's plan here to fully control the board, make sure that Chuck doesn't get everything.
So Chalk will just concede this match and go back to the drawing board, as they say. Score is 2-1 this is 2-1 in favor of Waning Moon.
Favor of Waning Moon.
Okay,
So after that game 1 loss, he came back 2 games and he's now in the lead.
Okay.
One win away from winning it all.
So Waning Moon left with arguably the best class in this meta, the Priest, and Chalk will need to win with his Hunter and what's the last deck?
The Hunter and the Warrior.
Didn't he win with his Warrior?
Or the Rogue.
The Rogue.
The Rogue. The Rogue.
Okay, he won with his Rogue, right? Yeah, he won with his Rogue, so he still has to use his
He has to use his Warrior and Hunter to try to win.
Warrior and Hunter.
And this seems to be bad news for Chalk, because with the right draw, Highlander Priest can beat everything.
Yeah, basically everything. Yeah. Okay, so I think it'll just toss Leroy and the Fiery Warax here.
You don't want Leroy early. Although Fiery Warax might be a good keep.
Northshire and just Northshire for Waning Moon there.
Yeah, he wants that early board presence to contest the
Shadow Word should see some use there in the early turns, especially with all these little creatures from Chalk there.
Although I've been looking at the matchup stats from different websites, and this matchup is actually in favor of the Warrior. But then again, it's not really too favorable. It's more of an even with a slight advantage on the Warrior side, as long as they draw good. And what we're seeing here is that both decks are kind of drawing good. Waning Moon seemingly has the answers.
Chalk just pull a rabbit out of the hat there with an upgrade, clearing the Northshire Cleric, and he's at an advantage right now.
That's true, and he doesn't want to wait for the Fiery Warax in order to clear the Cleric, because he will threaten to run away with throwing lots of cards for Waning Moon.
And since he had actually 2 Fiery Waraxes there, he opted to use one of them, also seeing an upgrade in hand.
So yeah, he has a lot of fuel in terms of weapons, so that will produce lots of damage. He can actually attack with it this turn, and then upgrade it, and then attack for 2 more, so that's 11 damage already right there.
Okay, on the other hand, Waning Moon has slightly... He has a lot of answers, I mean, but no... What do you call this?
He has a lot of answers, but the problem is that Chalk is not putting in the right threats. He doesn't have any answer to the weapon at the moment. Although, if Chalk goes tries to flood the board, he will run into those answers.
He already has the Spread Link and Shadow Word Death to answer little threats there. Also, Lyra in hand. Now he just opts to just Hero Power Play. Classic Priest turn.
And the classic Priest turn.
Okay, good.
Okay, there's the upgrade.
Finally, the South Sea Captain buffing the patches there.
Yep.
Okay, and Waning Moon already down to 22. Wow, okay, good card, good next turn there.
That's a good right there in the Razzadan chain. But South Sea Captain puts things a bit awkward for WaningMoon because he cannot kill it with Shadow Horror. And it will continue to buff all the cards that come down for Chuck's side of the board.
Okay, he would be able to. How would? Okay, he has just basically just fiery rags and patches there. It's 3-3 and then charging Corcoran lead for Chalk's turn.
Yep, that's another big problem for Priest for attack, and he doesn't have. Oh well.
Okay,
I spoke
now
too
he has,
soon.
he has a pint-sized
He has
potion
a pint-sized potion, the perfect answer for Chalk's board. So, WaningMoon has the board clear. He now has the healing. Now he's only the only thing he needs to do now is to try to mitigate as much damage as possible from Chalk's weapons.
He also has that greater healing potion in hand, so a lot of sustain for WaningMoon. I think Chalk would have a very hard time win this. Okay, I think that greater healing potion should.
It will cover all damage done by the Chalk's weapons so far. So it will be very heartbreaking when he sees that being played.
That greater healing potion. A different version recently does not actually does not use greater healing potion. Instead of they cast a wonder cast potion that heals you for 5. What was that?
Oh yeah, the name of that. Sorry.
Okay. Greater healing potion sometimes is kind of awkward. Usually gets stuck in your hand with a lot of matches.
That's true.
But for this matchup, it's
it's the best thing that you have here.
he actually opts not to use it. Instead, he just uses his fire instead.
Yeah, he wants to see what other options he can have to try to pull the game further away from Chalk. Because at the moment, Chalk is getting some ground with the Pirate plus the Frothing Berserker being at 5 attack. However, WaningMoon again has 2 answers for it. Actually, 3 answers.
He does have a lot of answer, and it's just basically a matter of time before he draws into his combo. He already has his Raza, the Unchanged, and just waiting for that DK to finish things off. And Chalk is left with
2 Fireflies
and
the trusted Leroy.
So it looks very dim for
yeah, it's
for
quite an
Czech
uphill
there.
battle. Ever since that Raza came up on turn 4, it's been an uphill battle for Chuck because turning the hero power of Priest to 0 means that 2 damage is being negated every turn, and over time that adds a lot.
And yeah, WaningMoon was able to actually utilize most of his, the ability of Rasa there, always utilizing his mana and getting that free heal. And he actually, one of the bombs of the Raza priest there is Kazakas.
Yep. And with this potion, he will try to seal the game state in his favor. Now, however, WaningMoon is running into some kind of problem in the sense that he doesn't have an actual finisher for the match. So, the worst thing that can happen to him here is he will try to control the Chalk's board still as much as possible, and then Chalk will start to introduce more relevant threats such as another copy of Corcoran and of course the hero.
Okay, Chalk going all in here. Probably would just trade against the ones. Look at the little dragonlings there. But
And we have to note, WaningMoon already used his Dragonfire potion, so...
although, yeah, the Kasakos potion, just the right thing there.
Just the right thing there.
Okay, and a little finisher there.
Probably the nail in the coffin in this match.
Okay, so...
Even had the Doom Guard.
Yeah,
So
Doom,
he now actually has a real threat to finish the game off.
he can actually use that Doom Guard. Most of his cards aren't really that...
Yeah, they're not relevant at the moment outside of the...
He can lose any 2 of them, even the greater healing potion, and he would still be
in
stable.
a good position.
Yeah, good
that's
position.
True, that's true.
Okay.
Okay, Chalk just going for hero power. Not gonna reveal that Mortal Strike just yet.
Yeah. Okay, so Is he going to use a Doom Guard now? Yeah, just auto wait here. Use
Yeah.
everything.
I use everything first and then use the Doom Guard. Knowing WaningMoon, he is a very safe player. He wants the 100% success.
It looks
in the
like
matchup.
Chalk has conceded this match, and WaningMoon will move forward, and that's it for Chalk this